Well, hey guys, welcome back to the Shared Voices podcast put on by the 1042 Project, and we're excited. We got Rick and Monique in the house again. We did 3 episodes with them. If you haven't, 2 so far. If you haven't gone, go back and listen to the other 2. And in this one, we're going to dive into, jump into marriage for first responders, relationships, and talk about some of, you guys do co-therapy, but you also do some more intensive stuff, and you also are starting up doing some retreats for our marriage couples. So let's dive right into that. This is Rick and Monique with Real Connections in Urbandale. Their therapy counseling office, or what do you guys want to call it?
We'll call it the therapy counseling office.
That works. Real Connections Counseling in Urbandale and Winterset.
We'll call it the Shared Voices for Real Connections Therapy Counseling Office.
There you go. I like it. You guys, they're unique. They do counseling. They do co-therapy with the husband and wife together with the both of you, and you also have another team in your office that works with couples doing co-therapy as well.
I'd love to get a couple more married teams. That would be great. I mean, because there is something powerful about having, our own history and our own experience as a married couple.
Yes.
And the things we've learned over time and how we use that with teaching other couples how to have a better, healthier marriage. And our other teams also, they take the same thing. They've learned these skills as well, and they're using them, practicing with their spouses, even though they're a team that are not married to each other. And so they're still using that. And so it's still a similar model, but there is something powerful about me doing it with Rick versus me doing it with Cora or Jess.
Yes.
And yet, at the same time, our other team, one of them has spent a good part of her career in the military. The other one, Jess, is very experienced in the anti-trafficking world.
Yep.
Has a lot of experience in that realm. So there, not only are we feeding relationships in a positive way, we have seen between the 4 of us the different corners of darkness in all kinds of ways, and to a large degree, we get it.
I love that.
We have a couple things we've tapped into the first session. I'm a military kid, so I understand the background of Dad being in and out of my life from being deployed and not being deployed and going away for a weekend and being gone for 2 weeks and so on and so forth. And I get what that's like. One thing we haven't tapped into is, Rick, is your chronic pain and how that impacts, because I think that's something also first responders and military people have to deal with. So I don't know if you want to touch on that really quick a sec.
Yeah, I'm only ever, the backstory is my dad was in Vietnam, and in Vietnam, they released this nasty little agent called Agent Orange. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us, after that chemical was released, a lot of their children were born with birth defects, and I was one of them. I was born with spina bifida. And as I've grown up, I'm in pain 24/7. Mm-hmm. And so what it means when you have a lot of pain all the time, and I know a lot of you do as well, in your own different ways, man, you can get grouchy. You can start to deal with your pain in unhealthy ways. You have to always be looking for your next seat. There's so many elements of pain that become different. And not only that, now my wife becomes a caretaker, right? Or your spouse or your children in some ways become caretakers because you're not able to do as many things as you used to be able to do. There are so many layers to chronic pain, and that could be problematic in the home.
We'll call it impactful to the relationship.
Impactful, to the relationship.
Definitely a unique challenge.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just another piece, if you have any listeners that are struggling with chronic pain or caretaking type of situations, we're also very well versed in that. So.
I love that. And because we also have to deal, just like we do have to deal with our physical pain, we got to deal with our emotional pain.
Yeah. And physical and emotional can walk hand in hand. It can be a pretty some nasty chemistry there sometimes.
Yeah. That's why it is so important for your physical health and your mental health.
Yep.
They work together.
Yep.
That's why we need to go to the gym, work out, do things like that, because they have a direct impact on each other.
Yep.
And Let's dive right in because we talked about the co-therapy last time. I want to talk a little bit more about if a couple is going through that and they want a little bit more. What else do you guys offer with your intensive therapy? I may be using the wrong words. Monique, you want to start us off with?
Sure. So our standard session for our couples therapy is 80 minutes. And we talked a little bit about that already. And it's powerful. So if you call us and want to do traditional therapy, we're going to be setting up an 80-minute session every other week or every 3 weeks. That's just our standard model. But there are some people that are like, you know what? I really want to hit this and I want to hit it hard. So then we offer the option of intensives. Now we have 2-hour intensives, which at this point really isn't a whole lot more than that 80-minute session, but we do offer that.
It's effective.
It's effective.
That extra 20 minutes
makes a difference. Extra half an hour really does help sometimes. And we do have a couple of our couples that are like, I want a 2-hour session. And that's their standard. That's fine. That's great. But we offer intensives. We do a 4-hour intensive. So with that one, we have a lot more time. It's usually 4.5 because we take a little bit of break in between to just kind of decompress, take a mental break in between the 2 hours. And that's pretty common. We've also have been doing more frequently what I would call like day-and-a-half intensives. So we do, for example, Thursday night and an all-day Friday, or a Friday night and an all-day Saturday. And that would incorporate, especially if they haven't come to us at all for any basic session before, that first session, that night before is kind of our figure out who you are, what you want to work on. We get the history and all of the basic stuff. And then the next day we hit the ground running. So then the next morning we do usually a 2 to 4 hour session, take a break, usually an hour because we want separation. And then we come back and we do another 2 hours and take a break and then do another 2 or 4 hours. So somewhere a mixture of 2 and 4 hour groups of time, depending on what we're working on. And this works really well with someone that struggled with infidelity, and they really want to try to work through the baggage of that in one grouping.
Yeah.
Rather than coming back every couple of weeks to talk about it. We just hit it hard and try to get them to a place of health and repair.
Betrayal and trauma seems like two of the main reasons a couple has chosen the long intensive. Not too long ago. Anyway, a couple came in with a lot of resentment, tons of resentment from betrayal, fear, lack of trust. They came in with all of that, holding that baggage behind them and dragging that in the door. And they left the next day with just a tiny little bag. And it was amazing. It was amazing to see. So we get to see a lot of fun stuff happen. A lot of it's not fun to always go through a day and a half. It's pretty intense. We call it an intensive for a reason. But to be able to see that bag, that baggage that you carried with you shrink drastically through a day and a half, man, that's just cool. It's tiring for us too, but it's really cool to see.
Yep.
Well, what I like about that, and I don't know, so would a person do co-therapy, maybe start co-therapy first and then add that as an addition? Or is this something where a person could just jump right in and say, we need a day and a half?
Both.
We do both models. For something like infidelity, it's great to do that right up front because there's so much in the room. There's so much chaos in the room that it gives us an opportunity to get direction and get them both on the same page a lot faster. But the one Rick was referring to, we had been seeing them for a while, and we said, I think you would benefit from a 4-hour or an all-day intensive because I think that until we work through some of these resentments, you're not going to be able to move forward with the skills we're trying to talk about because you're so angry with each other.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you're broken because you need intensive. Intensive, I would almost say be just another word to be more intentional.
Right.
Some of us have more stuff we need to unpack. Some of us got more things in our past. That doesn't mean we're lesser than or we're broken. It just means we need a little extra time. We want to be intentional about being able to address the problem and give it the respectful amount of time to address it. And
look at it as the difference between going on a date and going on a weekend together and going on a vacation together, right? Like
Yeah.
they all have their parts.
Yep.
They're all important and they're valuable, but sometimes, you know, you can keep a relationship going really well once a week on a date, but sometimes you just need to go off the two of you.
Yep, absolutely.
By
That's what I like.
yourselves.
If you're here in Iowa and you're not in the Des Moines area, I think this is what's kind of cool about what I just learned about. Maybe I'm speaking out of line here. You live, 2 hours away or whatever.
Do an
Maybe
intensive.
maybe you and your wife do an intensive. You take a trip, you get a hotel room here in the Des Moines area, and you be intentional about it, and you set up a time with Rick and Monique, and you do an intensive one together. Get out of town.
Focus on your marriage.
Focus on your marriage. Invest in your marriage, and I think that's unique that you guys can do that. So if you're not from the Des Moines area, there's still ways they can come, get a hotel room, and get help from.
Actually, that was one of our intensives. They did that.
Yep.
And then if they want to continue doing therapy, they can do telehealth. We can continue to see them if they don't want to travel 2 hours to do an 80-minute session. We can switch on to an online session.
I love that.
We already have clients from since 2015, we've had clients from all over the state. So
I love that. And I like the idea of throwing a trip into it.
Yeah, why not, right?
There's
And
lots
that's
of
where
cool things to
retreats
do.
come into play, right? So we've
Yes,
tapped into retreats real briefly, but
Let's jump into that as well.
we have one right now that we're scheduling. This is obviously not specific to first responders, but we
Yep.
have a retreat we're doing in September in Galena, Illinois. Beautiful location where we've rented out the entire Cloran Mansion. And so
Wow.
we have all the rooms. They'll be making all of our meals, or they'll either make them or provide all of our meals. And then you'll have 3 days of intense learning and retreating. So there'll be some fun, there'll be some laughing, there'll be some time to just connect with your spouse. One of the days we intend to give you a picnic lunch and tell you to go explore Galena. So plan on that, dress appropriately and be prepared to do that.
I think that Galena, Illinois was the site of an actual Hallmark
Movie.
romantic movie.
It's
I'm sure.
beautiful.
That's
It's a
how
beautiful-
romantic this little town
Those
is.
down-
If
this
you
little
don't know
town is so
Galena,
cute.
Illinois, man,
Yeah.
And so with
it'll
that
make
one,
you
we'll-
romantic.
Yes.
that one's a Wednesday night through a Sunday morning.
Okay.
And the price is on our website, and it includes all of the meals, the stay, the skills you'll be
Training.
learning, the counseling you'll be getting, that sort of thing. And it's just a beautiful location. But it would be a great place to just get a breath,
Yes.
rejuvenate your relationship. But we've talked with you too. We'd love to figure out if there's a way we can do retreats with some of our first responders where they and their spouse or their partner, whatever you guys decide for your parameters, can come and learn some of these same skills.
Yep.
Get a chance to get away, get away from the drudgers of life, the drudgery of life, and away from their homes. Because there's something about, even if you were to go to a conference and come back, if you come back to your house, you're back into it.
Yep.
Right? We want to take them out for a couple of days to give them a chance to connect in a different way. We call them intimacy reimagined for a reason. We want you to reimagine what intimacy can look like, because intimacy isn't about sex. Intimacy is about connection.
Yep. That's right.
And so
Safety,
we
affection.
want, vulnerability, all of those pieces. And so you have to get out of your environment to get there sometimes. And then you can bring it back.
Yeah.
That would be our goal. And then if you connect with some other people, we do couples helping couples. We want these first responders and their spouses to connect with other first responders and spouses in a different way, not just the work and the trauma, but in a healthy, how do we have a good relationship way, so that they can be great resources for each other as they move through this life that they have, which is going to be different than anyone else's life. People that just go to an 8 to 5 job don't have the same experiences.
That's right.
A first responder is not the 8 to 5 type of person.
No.
They're always on.
Always on.
And even when they're sitting in a restaurant, they're on.
Yep.
They're at a grocery store, they're on.
Yep.
We aren't going to make you not be on, because I know that's not part of your character.
Right.
We are going to help you fulfill your vows. We're going to help you say, look, I said I would prioritize my relationship inside my marriage and inside my family, inside my group, and I'm going to do that. And I said that I would keep my promise, and I'm going to do that. And we're not going to change your character. We love that you're always on. We love that you're out there watching over us. We love that you're out there keeping track of this city.
Yes.
It's super important. But we also love that you're going to go home and do the right things there too.
Yeah.
We love that you're going to go home and always be on there too. To be able to say to you, you know, I'm in my home and this is a good spot to be.
Yes.
We want that for you as well. We're not going to change your personality. We're not going to change that character, but we are just going to change how you go about doing that.
I love that. And what I love about that is with these retreats, you know, a lot of first responders that listen know this. A lot of times I like to take people out and get them out in kayaks or out hunting or out fishing and get to talk to them in a setting like that. A lot of people aren't willing to just maybe walk into a counseling office right away and sit there. Maybe that's just not how they learn. But what's cool about these retreats is it's so much more than just that. You are getting an experience. You're getting something that will be memorable for you and your spouse to remember for the rest of your lives and allow that to be a turning point in your relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's pretty cool about it is you're stepping outside the therapy room and you're allowing people to go somewhere away from their hometown in an area where they can put their hair down and not have to worry about other people who they know around. You can enjoy the experience, enjoy the shopping, the eating, and time together in a beautiful setting. And I think that really being intentional and doing something like that is how marriages can get healthy, because we're being intentional and we're taking ourselves out of our regular day-to-day routine, regular day-to-day environment, and we're being intentional about changing it and coming together with our spouse and having an exciting, fun, healing week of healing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. So these retreats, how do they get a hold of you guys to find out more information about that? How do people who want
they can go to our website,
okay,
realconnectionscounseling.com.
Okay.
I think it's realconnectionscounseling.com/retreats, but you can also just go to the main page, scroll down about half page down.
It's easy to find, yeah.
And you'll see the link to our upcoming retreat. But they can also reach out on the every page on our website. We have a contact us form, and they can certainly mark on there. And one of the drop downs is tell us about your retreat, so we can add them to our retreat list. When we do set something up specifically for you guys for 1042, if we decide to do some retreats, we can come back on this site. We can give them more of a direct link. We can certainly work with you to get people that information. So I think they can reach out to you as well. Just say,
absolutely.
Hey, when are we doing this retreat? We want them, and we'll get it scheduled and set up for you. But the one in September is on our website right now.
Okay. The one on that's on September, that one is not just for first responders, but married couples. You may not need to go to one that's just for first responders.
Right. If you'd prefer not to. I mean, sometimes people
Some of you
prefer
might not need that. Yep.
So there's that's limited to 5 couples because it's a nice small intimate group. So
okay, so 5 couples.
That's it.
So get on there quick. Get
it's not a
up.
crowd, man. It's not a crowd, and I know a lot of you are
nervous about that.
nervous about getting into a big crowd. This is not that.
I love that.
Yep, it'll be a total of 5 couples. So you're talking with us and Alyssa, who is our admin. She'll be there for part of it. She'll be helping with some stuff. Literally 13 people plus the people running the bed and breakfast. So, nice, small, intimate group.
Yes, I love that. If
that's something you're interested in, definitely check out our website and look at the Galena, Illinois retreat, September 18 through 22.
We also have an Intimacy Reimagined Facebook page. You could probably we have a Real Connections page, and you can get to the Intimacy Reimagined page off of that if you want. But you can just look up Intimacy Reimagined, and it should come up. There, you can become part of that page, and from there we update. We do little relationship tidbits on that, little videos, things like that, so that you can hear what we're about.
Yes,
and learn more about upcoming retreats.
About what's going on.
Yep, and Monique touched on it, but our organization is going to be working with you guys to set up a retreat for our first responder couples, military couples.
Super excited.
And that one is just going to be locked down and closed to first responders and military families only.
Right.
And
again, we'll still try to keep them relatively small because we want that vulnerability, transparency, the connection with other couples, and you can't do that when your group gets too big.
That's it. Otherwise, you can disappear into a group or be lost. And
too easy to disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the retreat's in Galena in September.
Mm-hmm.
You can get signed up now, and stay in touch for the first responder one that's going to be coming up. And Rick and Monique, again, it's Real Connections in Urbandale, Iowa. And the website is Real Connections.
Real Connections Counseling.
Real Connect. Yeah, I'll let her say it.
RealConnectionsCounseling.com.
.com.
Check
it out, guys. You're going to be hearing more from Rick and Monique in the future. We love their heart. They're friends of ours, and we want to be able to share them with you throughout the year and in the future. So this will not be the last time you hear from them. Thank you guys for 3 great episodes. Very, very, very helpful. I think our listeners are going to get a lot out of it.
Yeah, we look forward to working with some of your listeners. So definitely don't be afraid to reach out. We'd love to get to know you, even if it's not from a counseling standpoint, but you just want to learn more about how therapy can be a good thing for you, or retreats. Reach out.
I love that.
You are most welcome.
Yep. And real quick before I leave, I want to say one thing. If you are a believer, if you are a faith person, Rick and Monique, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know this from their heart. Their heart is they have a heart for Jesus.
Yep.
And when you go to their, and correct me if I'm wrong, people when they come to you, you don't bring that up unless they want to bring it up. Is that correct? But I do want to say that because it's important for our faith people who follow Christ.
It's
and
true.
People.
Yep.
You guys address that. You guys are very much faith filled. You believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody is not, that they don't have any faith at all, and they're
they are more than welcome in our office.
That's it. So it doesn't matter either one.
Yep.
Right.
But I think it's important for the people that are Christians to know that you guys do that, because there's an element that comes with that.
Yeah. There's a stigma that comes to it that they'll be proselytized, and that's just not what we're about. We want to do real life with you.
Yeah.
We want to do exciting real life with you and do real life things with you and hear your story and share that part of life with you.
I love that.
The skills are basic, right? And we would love to walk alongside you if you need that faith background as part of it. And if that's
we
not
love
who
that.
you are, we let we let the couple decide if they want that faith piece to be a part of their counseling or not.
I love that. I know I do.
So
I think it's important for me.
Yeah.
And also don't forget,
Me too.
I know she mentioned it earlier, but with getting help in your marriages and working on your intimacy. Why is that word so hard for me to say?
Because it's a hard word to say.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to find too, isn't it? But you guys, regardless, I'm talking to my guys out there. When we work on our marriages, when we talk with our spouses, when we become real, when we tear down our walls, when we're vulnerable, the sex gets better too. I'm just saying. It's part of it. There's something about when you have a better connection with your spouse. So for you guys, if you need motivation more than what you've heard so far, I am here to tell you that a healthy marriage does lead to a healthy sex life, which leads to a healthier first responder.
absolutely.
Preach it.
Preach it, brother. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.